The COVID-19, coronavirus, oh my goodness. What a reality check. Who's ever thought that when we run a business like this with, how many beds do we have, and we look at occupancies on a monthly basis and we say, well, our occupancy was, 60, or if we're lucky, like 73 to 78%, and peak season, it's crazy and we don't have enough rooms. But going to like a zero occupancy, we've never thought about that. So yeah, then you are faced with a question where you say, well, it's this nice term that everybody uses, what is an essential service? And I think Wayne also spoke about that as an essential service, and that should keep running, and then in your own business you look back and you think, okay, so what are essential services? Where do we need to spend money? You obviously look at what you have available and you kind of stretch it and you think, how many months is this going to keep us alive, and how long can we go without making life-changing decisions for staff and for business and for all those kind of things. So yes, COVID sure knocked our feet from under us, and we are in positions, and I don't, obviously we are not the only ones. I think tourism in the world and here in Namibia, it's taken a big knock, and lots of people after this will sit without jobs and income, and go back to communal areas, which again creates a lot of pressure in those areas, and especially if there's no money in those areas, is what do people live off? How do they sustain themselves and just stay alive, So I know that in other episodes, people have spoken about the impact of, where people find food or income. So whether that, brings up levels of poaching again and survival, whether that's just for meat, just to be able to feed yourself or feed your family, or sell the meat to be able to buy something for yourself or your family and keep everybody alive. So yeah, the impact is nasty, is not a good one. And therefore our focus is local. And local, we call it local is lekker in Afrikaans, and it gives it a nice ring. So local is good and nice, and we're running a special, and it's not just us. Many of the partners in tourism, other lodges and guest houses and reserves, run specials for local tourism, and we see there's a take on this, and there are some visitors, and we're grateful. I mean, wow, and the local tourist that travels, and you chat to him, and they are interested. They want to know how you are doing, and how are you surviving this? And you've taken such a big knock, so there's sympathy, and it's a nice feel. So shout out for local tourism. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's really cool to have you guys here. I hope you had a great day today.
Yeah, we had an amazing day.
Yeah.
Came pretty close to the leopard. It was a bit scary.
It's more with the jokes.
Yeah.
Is it?
Is that why you're drinking some wine?
So who did you guys see?
We have seen Mawenzi. Yeah, because I told them this guy, I followed him today in the morning. Okay. And actually today he was behaving quite funny according to the signal. Every time I got closer, he moved, so I suspected he must have been with an uncollared female.
Okay.
So I decided let's go back there and check and find out what is happening. Yeah, we were lucky because we found him. He approached us actually, and we had the first view where he walked past us, and then we tried to catch up with him. We found him, and he decided to lay down there. We had some time with him. Eventually, he walked up.
What's amazing is the way that Namibians got up and started traveling locally.
Exactly, local is lekker.
And I just hope that after COVID, that there will still be some Namibian specials to keep us traveling, because that is what we need. We need to actually show our own people.
It's true.
Everybody's here. And
It's true.
place like Okonjima, it's one of the few in the world, perhaps the only in the world, where you can do what we did today. And that is so nice. We came here to see leopard, and we saw them, and we had a magnificent experience doing that.
Oh, that's so awesome.
I grew up in Natasha. My dad was with nature conservation, so I lived in Okukuyu as a kid. And now to get there, and you are only, say, 20 or 30 Namibian families there.
Yes.
Without the mad rush of foreigners, who I can call it that. It's actually also a blessing.
Yes.
Although I know they're not making any money there, they're just also like you guys surviving, just giving specials at 600 Rand a weekend or whatever. But at least we can get to see that in different circumstances.
Yeah.
We can actually drive along those gravel roads and not being blown away by all the dust, and just look at the animals and see them for what they are. So that's quite.
So this is our big question now: is are we, when things return to some sort of, it's difficult to call it normal, but to some sort of new normal, will we do things differently? Will we remember the things that we didn't like and we thought was an issue, but we didn't deal with it because either it brought us money or it kept our people employed or whatever. But now we see things like you say, I don't want to drive somewhere and drive just in dust because there's 100 cars on that road. Do we need to respect that area a bit more? Do we need to think about, our impact, our footprint, those kind of things, We've now worked out that over the last 4 weekends, with the money that's come in, we are able to pay the electricity bill, and we are able to fill up a underground diesel tank, because most of our vehicles run on diesel, and obviously also that is very rationed, I may add. We get allocated X amount of kilometers that we're allowed to drive, and so yes, those are the things. But local tourism obviously sees the opportunity to visit places that they don't often go to and don't often visit, and it's great. It's great to be able to speak to local people, because all of this matters to Namibians as well, not just to foreigners. And when we have our education programs, it's Namibian kids. Yes, there are some foreign schools visiting as well, but it's Namibian kids, and we want to, infuse the local next generation with love and passion for nature and for conservation and for what we're doing. In current times, I must say it's to see good work coming to an end because there's no money for it. And good work, so that starting off with good work of, staff members that have been here for years and, just know their routine and their jobs so well, to make decisions about people's lives. That is very painful. And then, of course, seeing, projects coming to a halt because they are not seen as essential services. And so whether we keep a pangolin project going, it doesn't impact directly right now on anybody positively right now. So therefore, it's not an essential service. And therefore, if we have to save those costs, have to drive out less because fuel is rationed, have to, minimize the amount of staff and even researchers or, assistant researchers and those kind of things. Those are all painful situations. I mean, I think we all can survive and we'll all have a little bit of something in our stomachs and we all still breathe beautiful Namibian air. But it's heavy here. You've got good days and you've got bad days. with COVID. But the good days is if you do go out there into the veld, and it's crazy. I mean, I get up relatively early in the morning before the sun actually pops over our mountain range, and I just stand outside on the stoep and look out, and how blessed and how lucky am I to live here. But look out into nature, and I just hear these birds wake up, and it's as if nature just knows nothing about this. It just goes on about its daily life, and that to me, inspires me again.